Welcome to another episode of Duck Vader TV. Today we're going to discuss Gina Carano and her lawsuit against Lucasfilm and Disney. But first, join the Duck side and subscribe to the channel, hit that like button and notification bell, and share this video out on the social medias. If you're a fan and frequent user of Twitter X, you may have seen this play out in real time. Despite where you stand on the Gina issue, being able to speak your mind is paramount. Somewhere between the 2010s and now, the ability to have a conversation ceased to exist, and the common response to a disagreement of one's opinion is name-calling and a shutdown of the conversation. We see this between family members, co-workers, politicians. It's an opinion, period. Everybody has one, everybody gives one, everybody is entitled to one. And if you feel that statement is incorrect, please explain your position on opinions down in the comments below. And then I'll come and explain why you're wrong. I'm kidding, of course, but seriously, as a society, we need to get back to the art of the conversation. Gina Carano submitted a lengthy post on Twitter X stating she has indeed filed a lawsuit against Lucasfilm and parent company Disney on February 6. The lawsuit comes as Gina feels she was wronged by the Mouse House for letting her go for what she feels was a wrongful termination due to her not aligning with the company narrative. Some will play semantics stating that she wasn't fired and that her contract just wasn't renewed. While Disney may be able to say that in response to Gina's lawsuit, they can't deny that there were long-term plans for her in the form of the Rangers of the New Republic show. So even if her current contract at the time had indeed expired, there were plans to keep her around for at least several more years. So in my opinion, she was indeed fired. Disney made a choice to prematurely end the working relationship between themselves and Gina Carano. Now let's go over Gina's post. She starts off saying that, "Today is an important day for me as I am filing a lawsuit against Lucasfilm and Disney. After my 20 years of building a career from scratch and during the regime of former Disney CEO Bob Chapek, Lucasfilm made this statement on Twitter, terminating me from The Mandalorian. Gina Carano is not currently employed by Lucasfilm, and there are no plans for her to be in the future. Nevertheless, her social media posts denigrating people based on their cultural and religious identities are abhorrent and unacceptable." I don't know if you've ever been fired before, but I have. And never have any of those companies offered a qualifier to their statement that I was being let go. Nevertheless, her social media posts denigrating people based on their cultural and religious identities are abhorrent and unacceptable? That's not a professional response and may open up Disney to scrutiny in the courtroom. Disney is not the arbiter of free speech. And that statement admits they let her go because of social media. Someone's feelings getting hurt because they chose to view what Gina said isn't the same as someone suffering damages due to what Gina said. But you're thinking Disney suffered damages due to people's feelings getting hurt and then not supporting Disney while Gina's employed by them. And to that I say, what's the standard? What is the standard? If a small vocal group of people can say so-and-so hurt their feelings by doing X, then in reality, no one's job is safe. Because you don't have to show damages, just feign outrage when someone doesn't share your opinions. That's a dangerous precedent. She goes on to say, "Nothing could be further from the truth. The truth is, I was being hunted down from everything I posted to every post I liked because I was not in line with the acceptable narrative at the time. My words were consistently twisted to demonize and dehumanize me as an alt-right extremist. It was a bullying smear campaign aimed at silencing, destroying, and making an example out of me." Question: what's alt-right? Without getting too political, there needs to be a standard for labeling someone. Disagreement shouldn't be political. If someone was doing random assaults on people who are left-leaning politically, then yeah, there's probably an argument that they're probably an alt-right. But saying the crazy random assaulter and the person saying, "Hey, I disagree with you, and here's a funny meme," that they're the same person, it's hard to take the alt-right argument seriously. She continues, "The thing is, I never even used aggressive language. I share thought-provoking quotes, pictures, memes, and occasionally use my own words, not with aggression but with respect, and the occasional comedy to keep the mood light. Look with your own eyes at what I posted and ask yourself, for example, where did I compare Republicans to Jewish people in the Holocaust? I didn't. Ask yourself why they were calling me a racist. Was there any merit behind that or history of it whatsoever? No. Look at why I was called a transphobe. For making droid noises from Star Wars? Beep, bop, boop was obviously directed to online bullies and did not in any way denigrate transgender people. Look, if you have pronouns in your bio, do what you think is best for you and have fun doing it. Seriously. But just realize that what you do doesn't mean anyone else is required to follow suit. There's a saying, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. It means respect each other. If you require someone adhere to your beliefs, be ready to adhere to theirs. Anything less is hypocritical. She continues, were my questions about masks, lockdowns, and forced vaccines okay to ask and push the subject into the light? Should we have been allowed to publicly discuss those topics at the time without being harassed or censored? Absolutely. Once again, asking questions and creating an environment for a conversation is not extreme. What is extreme is not fostering an environment for the exchange of ideas and demanding only one viewpoint. Back to her post, she says, Hollywood say they support female representation and equal rights. Why then were my male co-stars permitted to speak without harassment and re-education courses or termination, but I was not afforded the same right to exercise my freedom of speech? Artists do not sign away our rights as American citizens when we enter into employment. I have spoken to all my co-stars since I was fired, and there is nothing but care and kind words between us. I respect their right to free speech and do not have to think the same on every issue to be their friend and work with them, and I know they feel the same towards me. She wraps up the post thanking Elon Musk and X Corp for their help in giving her an opportunity to bring her matter to light. In the lawsuit, Gina Carano was claiming wrongful discharge and sexual discrimination, seeking $75,000 in damages and a court order that would reinstate her on the Mandalorian series. Now, she could sue for millions and probably come out with a nice settlement, but she's only suing for $75,000 in reinstatement on the show, which means
it's not about money, it's about sending a message.
The suit further details that Gina Carano was required by Disney to meet with a rep from the LGBTQ+ group GLAAD after online behavior that was seen as anti-trans, and she refused to do so. She was then asked to meet with a group of LGBTQ+ Disney employees, but again refused and was fired soon after. Let's be honest. When has anyone in the LGBTQ+ community come into a conversation with the mindset that they want to learn how to better exist with those outside of their community? I've never seen it. It's always about everyone else conforming to them, and that's not how you come to an understanding in a mutually beneficial relationship. Both sides have to be willing to listen, not just one side saying you're wrong, and here's why. Gina's suit refers to Disney and Lucasfilm as using bullying, discriminatory, and retaliatory actions. Let's run down some of the tweets that caused this firestorm. First, we have a post here that was retweeted by Gina that stated Jews were beaten in the streets by their neighbors and that the government had its people hating each other. Could that similarity be made today in American politics? The left hates the right, and the right hates the left. And who benefits in the end? There's a reason that the wealth of those in government seem to grow at a much faster rate than the average citizen, and that's on the left and the right. They have us fighting amongst each other while they give themselves raises for a job poorly done. Next, we have a post here on her views on the American election process. Regardless of where you stand on the voting process, I think we can all agree that it could be a lot more secure. If you do a small dive into voter fraud, you'll find many examples of fraud that take place and people who were arrested for it. Is it widespread? Maybe, maybe not. But I look at it like this. One small raindrop won't soak you, but many small raindrops will. Next, we have the infamous Beep Bop Boop post. If you choose to have your pronouns displayed, that's great. You do you. But it's not a requirement that other people follow suit. So, after months of hearing about pronouns and being demanded to display hers to show solidarity with the trans movement, Gina added Beep Bop Boop to her profile. This caused an uproar, but being that we're in a culture where you are whatever you identify as, what's the problem with Beep Bop Boop? If you take it as mocking, I ask this. If a tree falls in the woods and no one is there to hear it, does it make a sound? You can find offense in anything, if you're looking for it. So, how do you not be offended? It's simple. You choose not to be offended. And that wraps up today's episode of Doug Vader TV. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, share the video out on the social medias, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.